All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going live again. This is my second episode. It took me a whole month, over a month, to get to episode 2 this year. There's so much going on. I've been working overtime. I got the 2 kids, the babies. We've had to pay a lot of attention to this baby. He has a couple little issues. My wife's had to change her diet, and so yeah, it's been a hard month. I'm hoping it'll smooth out a little bit and I can get more things done. But yeah, I hope everybody out there is doing fine. I'm sure you guys are going to come in before too long. I hope so anyway. I see a few people showing up already. In this episode, I want to talk about a few things. Obviously, we got to talk about Joe Rogan, right? Rumble's making an offer. I mean, that would be nuts if that actually went down. I don't think it will. I want to talk about what Nancy Pelosi said and the ramifications, or the indications maybe, of her statement. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then I also want to talk about the polling questions that I've put up on my channel, and several of you have answered them, and I'd like to talk about those. We got some people coming in, and we got Kane. Hey, Jason. We got Elliot. Howdy, folks. We got Danny Lee. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Excuse me, I just got done eating a burrito. We got hello from Long Island, New York. Yeah, it's always cool when you guys say where you're from. It's always interesting to me to see just how wide this net is. So yeah, if you can tell me where you're from, that's cool. Whee! King of the landfill. Yeah, so I hope everybody's Monday has started off well. My work week actually starts tonight at midnight. So I'm off Monday. I'm off Sundays and Mondays, and then I start back my graveyard shift. We got Munson, we got A. Scott from Cleveland, we got Oklahoma, we got Texas, James, we got Charles from Oklahoma. Here, Hibbets Org from Louisville, Chicago area is Kane, Plymouth, Massachusetts. I was born in Massachusetts. I lived in Kentucky. Not very close to Louisville, and I'm not a Louisville fan, I'll tell you that. As far as sports go, I'm a Kentucky fan. Now we got Nebraska, we got Soldotna, Alaska, wow. New Orleans, or Nawlins, as they like to say. We got Oregon, Los Angeles. Hey, we're right here with you in this putrid swamp out here. We're out here together. Buffalo, New York, I've been there. Cynthiana, Kentucky, I've been there too. Detroit, Dallas, been to all these places actually. Nationwide famous. Yeah, right. I don't know if you can call 61 people nationwide famous, but I'll take it. From Shelbyville, we got Louisiana, Texas, Indiana, Washington. That's awesome, guys. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. I really do. I appreciate you watching the videos and sharing them and making comments. I try to read most of the comments. I like them, or I try to comment back if I think they're good comments, or I think there needs a comment. Florida, Michigan, Virginia. Heading out to Pasadena tomorrow. Nice. I'm not that far from Pasadena. Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, Illinois. Awesome, guys. I appreciate it. But yeah, let's get into it. So Joe Rogan, as you guys know, I'm sure you guys have heard, Evansville. I got a great friend in Evansville. He's been offered $100 million for 4 years to go over to Rumble. Now, that would be a game changer, I think. Rumble would really get its feet under it if they could get someone like Joe Rogan over there. And what does Joe gets 11 million listeners a day or something like that on average, which is, I mean, that's beating Tucker Carlson, right? It's beating CNN. I don't know about replays and that kind of stuff, but it's beating a lot of the big guys, or what we used to think was the big guys, right? So, it would be awesome if Joe Rogan left to Rumble. And I think, I eventually want to just go to Rumble and get off of YouTube, because I feel like, I get emails from you guys, maybe 3 times, 4 times a video. I get messages say, hey, no one told me about this video. YouTube didn't notify me for this video, and so on. And I noticed that on videos that I'm talking about something they don't like, it doesn't do as well. On videos that I talk about something they apparently do like, I do better. But yeah, if Joe Rogan left and went to Rumble, that would be huge. And let's talk about why, the original reason, it's misinformation around about COVID, right? That's the problem. That's always the problem. Misinformation. And Dr. Fauci told us masks didn't work, right? I still believe he was telling us the truth then and then changed it later, because I don't believe a cloth is going to work. It's airborne, right? So that's misinformation. Whichever way you look at it, that's misinformation from Dr. Fauci. Then they wouldn't talk about natural immunity, right? They told us that you couldn't, once you were vaccinated, you were good. You couldn't get it. You couldn't pass it on. All that stuff. That was all misinformation. And Rogan, rightfully so, brought that up in his kind of response to Neil Young. But misinformation is not why they're mad at Rogan. They're mad at Rogan that he's able to get people, very credible people who have different opinions than they do, who have different agendas than they do. That's the problem. It's not because of misinformation. It's because they don't want credible, smart people out there saying something different than they are. And Joe Rogan's got a huge audience. I tried to get Dr. Malone on this show to interview him, and obviously I'm a small guy, and he's going on much bigger things than this. But I tried. But as far as when it comes to Rogan, he's got that reach, right? And you got someone so credible as a Dr. Malone, or the other doctor, I can't remember his name right off. You guys might remember. That's why they do it. Hold on a second here. The Quartering had a video today showing Meredith's touch and another super PAC were being the smear job. It was never about scoof, as people like to call it. It was about power. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with that number there, Thomas Caldwell 74. I'm not sure if that's accurate. If that's supposed to be $10, is that a different money? That's not $10,000. If that's $10,000, I'm speechless. I don't think it is, but hey, man, wow, whatever it is, it's caught my eye. That'd be incredible. Yeah, that took me for a loop there. You might want to correct that if that's not correct. If you meant $10 and I don't even know. It doesn't have a dollar sign, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe that's your name. I don't know. That's unbelievable if that's true. You tell me. Oh, Colombia pesos. There we go. Thank you for that. That would have been something else. I'd have talked about that for the rest of the video. Yeah, it got me all flustered. I have to get a drink here. My face turning red. Oh. Let me talk about what you're saying. The Quartering the video today showing Meredith's touch and another super PAC were being the smear job. It was never about, yeah, that's exactly right. It's never been about COVID. It's always been about control. It's always been about power. It's always been about getting people elected. Sorry, no, you didn't disappoint me. I knew it couldn't be true. But yeah, it's not about misinformation. It's never been about misinformation. Like I've said in several videos, natural immunity they never wanted to talk about natural immunity. And the reason they didn't want to talk about it was because if you had natural immunity, why would you get the vaccine? Why? So, some people are mentioning here, Peter McAuliffe is worth listening to. That might be the other doctor, but I'm not sure. Meredith's touch, not Meredith's Midas touch. Yeah, I see you. Anyway, kind of to get back on point, if Rogan left and went to Rumble, then I think it would make a lot of people have the chance to leave and go to Rumble. Someone like me, like my videos over there do 100, 200 views. I've made pennies over there. Over here, I've made dollars. I'm not making much money, but it's definitely more money than over there. But yeah, it would make a really nice chance for a lot of people to go over there. And then a lot of people that are just viewing YouTube, say they would get off of YouTube, go over there, because there'd be another reason, a big reason to go over there. And then you kind of get sucked in. When you get into places like that, you kind of get sucked in with different type of videos and how things work. Oh, thanks, Thomas, for the Huggy Bucks. I appreciate those. Now that kind of takes me to, let me pull up something here. Now this might be weird. Hey, by the way, is my signal look good? Because everything looks blurry for me on my side, but I'm not sure if it looks like for you guys. Does it look blurry on your guys' end? You look fine. Okay, great. Because on mine, when I'm looking at mine, it looks really blurry, but I'm also shooting it out and doing all that stuff. So let me pull this up, my second screen here. Okay, so talking about misinformation, talking about Joe Rogan, I think this kind of parlays into it. So I did this poll on here. We had 2,200 votes. This is on my community page. If you guys want to go on the community page, sometimes when I do stuff like this, I appreciate it. If you like me doing this stuff, let me know. Thank you. You're appreciated. Keep up the videos coming. Thank you, Jacobson, S. Jacobson 05. I appreciate that, brother. So here's the polling question. The reason I'm not vaccinated against COVID is because, first answer, I'm healthy and/or I'm not scared of getting it, 31%. I've already had it and have antibodies, 29%. I'm afraid of the possible side effects, especially long-term, 22%. I don't think it works very well, 8%. And I believe it's designed to hurt us or make us sick, 10%. Now, I posted this on Facebook, and I had a good friend of mine. He's not a good friend, a friend of mine. I don't know him so well. We don't hang out every day. We work some in the music industry. And he's a smart guy. He's a liberal, but he's a smart guy. He doesn't just echo the left or anything like that. Now, I put this on Facebook and I said, interesting results, don't you think? Or something like that. And his point was, everything's interesting with all the misinformation out there. And to him, I said, and normally he likes to chat a lot. He likes to reply and go back and forth. And I said, well, the first three things you can choose. There's no misinformation needed to have those thoughts, right? And maybe not the fourth thing. So you got, I'm healthy and/or I'm not scared of getting it. 31% of you guys chose that. That's what I would have chosen. That's what I chose originally, and I ended up getting it. But that's what I would choose. And if less than 1% of the people who get it go to the hospital, according to their numbers. That's according to their numbers. Less than 1% of the people who get it are in the hospital from it. If that's the case, then 31% of the people are saying, look, I'm healthy enough. Your chances are great. Your chances are over 99% that you're not going to be in the hospital, and over higher than that you're not going to die, right? So that's a reasonable thing to choose. Next, I've already had it. I have antibodies, 29%. Obviously, natural immunity is a real thing. I've had my antibodies checked. I've told you guys before. It was really high. So that's obviously a normal thing. I'm afraid of the possible side effects, especially long-term. 22% of you guys said that. That's a reasonable thing. It came on us very fast. It's a reason that one of the reasons I would definitely I don't want children or young people taking this. Now, I said this before, if I was 80 years old, I would have probably went out and got the jab. I don't see, even if it has long-term side effects at 80 years old, the near-term side of slowing down COVID a little bit, that would be worth it to me. So yeah, if you're unhealthy, and yeah, you should get it. But we don't know what the long-term side effects are. And credible people like the person on Joe Rogan's show, Dr. Malone, he talks about some people where we know about the heart stuff, we know about thrombosis and strokes and blood clots, all that stuff. And there's also some stuff with women that he talks about, where, you know, some proteins are going to certain places in the women's anatomy and that kind of stuff. So that's obviously something, that's not misinformation. That's true. I don't think it works very well. It definitely doesn't work like they sold it to us. Does it work well enough that it stops some people from dying? I think so. But like I said, we don't know the side effects, and a lot of people have antibodies already, and a lot of people are healthy enough and nothing's going to happen to them. Oh, that's a good point. We'll talk about the Johns Hopkins lockdown thing too. Now, the last one, I believe it's designed to hurt us or make us sick. 10% of you believe that. And I'm easily entertained by that idea that you got, you know, the people like Bill Gates and people who have talked about population control and that kind of stuff. Now they're backing this because they're saving humanity. It's kind of hard to believe, but I don't see any evidence of that. I haven't seen any evidence of that. There's not enough people, you know, we know there's some people, some athletes that have dropped and died from the heart problems. Now, in 5 years, I've heard some of you guys, you know, some people say things like, you know, in 5 years, everybody's going to have cancer and that kind of stuff. I hope you're wrong, man. I hope you're wrong. I hope everybody who took it doesn't get anything like that, but we don't know. And that's one of them that would be, so, you know, roughly 90% of our answers here are not misinformation. They're not based on misinformation. They're based on normal, reliable things to think about that you should take into consideration. Are you healthy? Have you already had it? Is there a reason you should be worried about side effects? Are you a young person and you're healthy? There'd be no reason because of the side effects. So yeah, I really like doing these polls because that was very interesting. 2,200 people answered that. And now obviously not everybody could have answered that because some people got it. And Sir Pike, your picture is blurry, buddy, but the simple truth doesn't need fancy optics. Do its job. Keep on, brother. Keep on keeping on. Yeah, I'm not sure. It looks blurry on my end too. Now, I don't think I want to restart everything just to make it not blurry. I think I should just keep on keeping on. And I'm sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so someone brought up the Johns Hopkins study. What did the Johns Hopkins study say? It said that pretty much the lockdowns did not save anybody. It's such a tiny percentage that it was not worth it. We destroyed businesses, we destroyed students' lives, and so on, and for nothing. Right. And this is a credible study that no one in the mainstream media wants to talk about. This is a study from Johns Hopkins, a panel at Johns Hopkins. And this panel looked at all kinds of other studies. So it was something that we should be taking into consideration here. Somebody else, everyone squint. Wait, somebody else, nope, picture is not blurry. That's on you. Well, it's on me too. So I don't know. We'll see. Clear to me, good. Whoever's got it clear, enjoy, or don't enjoy, because, you know, you get to see this face all clear. If it's blurry, maybe enjoy that a little bit better, because then you have to look at my ugly mug. Let's go. I want to talk about one more poll I did. And do you guys like the polls? Should I do those on my off times, like just to feel for you guys, get a feel for what you guys are thinking? Let me know that in the comments. This other one was, do you think Joe Manchin will cave and help Biden achieve most of his agenda before the 2022 midterms? 31% said yes, 42% no, 27% said not sure. I was in the not sure category. I wasn't sure if anything is gonna, what he's gonna do. I still don't know. It looks like he is going to do something. He's talking about it recently, where they can, how do they put it? Stop what happened last time, where the Republicans thought, where Trump thought Mike Pence could not count the ones he didn't like or didn't accept or so on, that they're going to fix that problem. If that's it, that might not be as bad. But it looks like the Build Back Better stuff is dead from even him talking about it later. So it looks like 31% are roughly right on this one, 42% no. At this point, we don't know. We won't know until the midterms and what happens there. But I'm definitely going to do some more of these. I find them interesting. Now let's move on to, I want to move on to what Nancy Pelosi said, and then we'll talk about some stuff you guys want to talk about after that. Okay. So let me put this over here. Perfect. So I'm just going to quote her here. You guys have already heard this, but I just want to talk about it a little bit. She's talking about our athletes, right? And the Olympics in China, the Winter Olympics. Said, I would say to our athletes, quote, you're there to compete. Do not risk incurring the anger of the Chinese government because they are ruthless. I know there is a temptation on the part of some to speak out while they are there. I respect that, but I also worry about what the Chinese government might do to their reputations and to their families. And that part, the families, that's yikes. So then she said, so again, participate. Let us celebrate from abroad and don't risk risk thinking that there are any good intentions on the part of the People's Republic of China's government, because there are none. Thanks, Robert. So she's right about that, right? Now, our last president, he wanted to stick it to China, right? Because he was saying the same thing. He's saying there is nothing good coming from China. They have no good intentions. Now, if Nancy Pelosi's spitting the truth here, okay, first off, we got plenty of politicians and elite people up in this country that are making a ton of money on China. Mitch McConnell's a great example. With that new book, Red Handed, come out, it actually says that not only does the Chinese government give the shipping company that his Chinese wife owns, and obviously he owns, contracts. They don't just give them contracts. They actually pay and finance for their ships to be built. The Chinese government, Chinese state-owned companies. Now, how could you possibly trust, Cocaine Mitch McConnell to make the right decisions when it comes to China? His whole livelihood, the wealth that his kids will inherit and their kids are going to all be built on the fact that the United States needs a very good working relationship with China. Now, I'm not against having some kind of a working relationship with China. We have to. They're a major power. But to think that we can come out and say Nancy Pelosi, probably the third most powerful Democrat in America, can come out and say, they have no good intentions, and because there are none, and that something could happen to your reputations and to their families, right? If you say something, why are we even there? Why would we go to an Olympics where if our athlete happens to get up in an interview and say, well, what about the Uyghurs? That doesn't seem right. Like we might lose that person. That person might be disappeared in China, and their families or could be in trouble, or like what? Or is it a reputation? I mean, if it's just a reputation, that's nothing. No one would believe them around the world. They're not going to be in China for long. But we shouldn't be there at all. But then you start thinking about, our whole environmental, and I'm not a big environmental guy. Obviously, we need to pay attention to the environment some. But the left's push for environmental policies are built on the fact that China has to play along. And as Nancy put it, there are no good intentions coming from China. Well, if that's the case, then that means none of the stuff that we can work out with them, they're not going to be true on any of that stuff. There's no way we can trust them, as she rightly points out. And as, like I said, Trump pointed out for for his whole time. And it's one of the best things I think Trump did was finally bring that to the forefront. And then you got people, like I said, the Red-Handed book from I can't think of the gentleman's name right off, but this says so much more than just the Olympics. The indications from this statement, her statements, are that we can't trust China with anything, and we should do our best to sever as many ties as possible to China and let them know that we're not gonna take it. Oh, now 40,000, Thomas? Oh man, I can't handle that. I had it at 19, barely sick, smoked cigs. One of my clients got it. He ran in the marathons, was healthy, and he was gone in less than a week. The uncertainty drove fear. Fear from 9/11 lasted years. How long before fear is gone? 2025? Well, there's going to be people, Thomas, that never want the fear to be gone. So they're going to be playing on it for as long as they can. Will it be gone by 2025? I don't know. I mean, if you look at recent polls, I think Rasmussen, they said that, was it 50%, 54% of Democrats, Peter Schweitzer, thank you. He wrote the book Red-Handed, my bad. 54% of Democrats are still fearful of getting COVID, and only like 20% of Republicans. So yeah, how long will the fear last? I don't know, but they want that fear. They drive that fear, and we see it with everything. We talked about it in my last video and many times before. Get a phone line. You know what, Ball? Jason, you get a phone line. I need someone to answer the phone. It's just me here. I'd have to answer the phone and weed out people who wanted to get on here and act like a fool. I'd like to do that, but I am going to get some guests. I'm working on that. I got to get better at doing this too. This live thing is still relatively new to me, being by myself here too, or being like the leader of an interview or something, but I'm working on getting some guests. And I want to do all that stuff. But yeah, they're going to scare us till 2025 for sure. If they can go longer, they will. I mean, 2025, you're talking about the 2024 elections, right? It's going to go up until then for sure. And it could go further. But you are getting a lot of people that are saying they want to live with it now, right? You got, and then you got countries like Denmark and Sweden and Austria, I think. They're starting to pull back their restrictions, and they're going to be like, hey, this is the new thing here. It's like the flu. We got it here. If you want to protect yourself, however you want to protect yourself, go for it. But we can't make everybody do this. We can't say restaurants just serve to half the people, or everybody has to be vaccinated, all that stuff, because they all got a business. Businesses can't take that much, that heavy hand anymore. And some places are starting to see that. It's too late for a lot of places, of course, but the scare is gonna last a long time. Let's see what else is going on here. You're doing great. Oh, thanks, Ed. I appreciate it. Let's see. Ever notice how they don't want anyone to know what is really in the vaccines? That's true. 75 years, Donnie Brooken Hooligan said. It's a weird thing for them to say, trust the science, and then say, but let's not show you exactly what's in this. Yeah. Chris Eller, learning to live with it is where we're at now. I think we have to. I'm done with it. This last little run or whatever. I got an anecdotal story for you, some anecdotal evidence. I went to a wedding yesterday. And a friend of mine there at the wedding, he's kind of a family member, married into the family. We're both married into the same family. That's what it is. He has a party on Christmas, and every year, this Christmas, no different. 25 people came, he said. All of them vaccinated, except 6, I think. And those 6 had already had COVID. After the party, 19 people had COVID. 6 people didn't. Who did not have COVID? The 6 people who had already had it. The 6 people with antibodies, natural immunity, did not get it. The other 21 or the other 19 people all got it. Now, that's anecdotal, obviously, but I had the same experience. In our Christmas party, when I went to my wife's family, after Christmas, like a few days later, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm feeling like I got a cold. I'm feeling kind of sick." And then, sure enough, several people got COVID. My wife and I, who've had COVID over a year ago, we didn't get it. My kid didn't get it, or neither of my kids. My wife was pregnant when we had COVID with my son, and so he's probably got antibodies as well, and he didn't get anything. And everybody's, people were holding him and that kind of stuff. That's what you do, right, when you're visiting. So, yeah, I think we're at the point where you just have to be like, I walk into the store now most of the time, no mask on, even though they have the rules here. Sometimes they ask me to put it on, sometimes they don't. But I'm seeing more and more people do that. And I think that's what you have to do. Eventually, we should all have to walk in and be like, no, we're going to start living normally. If you want to wear a mask, go for it. If you want to practice, if you want to wait 6 feet behind me in line, go for it. That you can do that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to shake your hand. I'm going to say, how you doing? I'm going to laugh. I'm going to speak normal. I'm going to tell you a joke. We're going to laugh. And yeah, if we breathe on each other a little bit, that's just what it is. And sometimes you get a cold. Sometimes you get whatever. But, yeah, we have to learn to live with it. What else is going on, guys? Let me look up here and see what kind of comments we got. I had COVID with coughing and fevers 3 days. Next Ancient Aliens episode. Trust the science. That's good. That's funny. I had to work at the house where they did a lot of the Ancient Aliens interviews here in LA. I had to work there one day, and it was really cool. It was a really cool, like, ranch style house. And I said, this ought to be in a film, I told the guy. And he's like, oh, it's in TV. And then he told me that they did Ancient Aliens there for a while. Orwell would say, crap, this is real now. Yeah, oops, my bad. I shouldn't have got you guys thinking about this. Let me see. What else is going on? You got anything? I'm going to look over here. Let me bring back my main screen for a second before I got some notes over here that I write some notes down here and there. Awesome job, Jason. You and Matt Christensen have the best, most truthful info channels. Yeah, Matt Christensen's good. He's a really down-to-earth, nice guy. I never met him, of course. Okay, last one. What do you think of the Speaker Trump strategy for 2022? Love Blue Collar Logic. Been subscribed since the beginning. I feel like that's kind of a funny one, Thomas. The thought that Trump would go and now, like, that's like a step down. Trump's not the guy. Like, the other thought was, like, maybe Trump would be vice president. No, that's not going to happen. And Trump's not going to be the Speaker of the House and then somebody win and then switch either. That nothing's going to, and he's not going to become, be happy with being Speaker of the House. Trump's the guy to say, I'm the guy, and that's it, right? I'm the guy. I'm in charge. He's not gonna play second fiddle to anybody, I don't think. But heads would explode. It would be awesome. Heads would explode, and it would be awesome. In my circle of friends and family, more have had COVID than not. That's true. That's kind of how it is now. This last burst kind of blew it open. 100% of scientists agree. If you censor the rest who do not agree, that's right. Oh, I didn't hear about that. Biden cancels lease renewals for proposed Minnesota mine. Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt that's happened. Someone put it the other day talking about high gas prices. High gas prices are what they want. They're what Democrats want. The left want high gas prices. They want high energy prices. They want high electric prices. That's what they want. There is no way to fake it. So for someone to say, like, for a Democrat to say we're working on getting the prices down, they have no reason to get the prices down. They have every reason to keep it high because they need it to be high so that we'll all turn to, electric solar energy and so on. A big secret out here in Los Angeles is that Edison gets about half of its energy from natural gas. Right? So someone's like, we got to go electric. And you say, well, you're paying for pretty high for electric prices right now. They're buying natural gas for that and other fossil fuels. Like it's not as simple as they want to make it out to be. But if they can make it super, super expensive, then not only will other prices start to be able to compare from solar and wind and so on, which we can't solar and wind this anyway, but those prices will go high enough. If they go high enough, the government can come in and say, look, we'll take care of this. It's too unaffordable for the regular family in America now. They've just gotten so astronomical. We can't ask you to pay for this. We're going to pay for it. We're going to tax you and we're going to pay for it. And then they'll make their buddies rich. They'll do all that stuff. There'll be the Cylindras and all that will happen. And money will be wasted like crazy to be way expensive when we should be energy independent. We should be using anything we can get our hands on as newer technologies come out. Like, let's be honest. If a new technology came out today that was cheaper than fossil fuels, that was free, if it was hot air, if you could just, breathe into something and the energy took off, like, that'd be awesome. But we're not going to get to some crazy new technology by shutting down oil, shutting down fossil fuels and making them really expensive. But when it comes to these prices, Biden, they act like they want to fix something, but they don't. They have no reason to. They have every reason not to make the prices go down. Let's see, anything else? You are now immune. Okay, sorry, you guys are talking. I know you guys talk to each other too, and I read some of them, and it kind of doesn't make sense on here. Once electric, how will we be taxed? That's a fair question. I'm not sure how we'll be taxed, but they're going to make us pay for it one way or the other, right? So either we're going to pay the government, and then they're going to provide it for us. And then that, look at Venezuela, how good that's working out with the rolling blackouts and so on. There's going to be a lot more of that kind of stuff. Or they're just going to force us to the other companies out, and the only option we have will be really expensive energy prices. Okay, Thomas, I saw ESG rating. What exactly is that? Okay, so ESG is environmental, social justice, and governance. And what that is, the ESG, it's a score that companies are supposedly going to get. Now, I haven't read a lot about it. I know Glenn Beck talks about it a lot, and even talked about it. He has it in a book. You're going to get a score, and that score is going to be what what other companies judge you on, right? Like what banks judge you on to give you money and so on. So if you're good environmentally, okay, you're a 10 out of 10, let's say. If you're good socially, then you're an 8 out of 10 because you give back to Black Lives Matter, or you do these things. And then governance, I'm not exactly sure how that one plays out. But if you got a good score, you're going to be able to get along. You're going to be able to get a lot of stuff, get good loans and that kind of stuff, and good business opportunities. If you have a bad ESG score, then they're not going to give you that loan at the same rate, or they're not going to give you the opportunities. Now, that ESG score there's going to be somebody who's some leftist in charge of the rules on how you get a score like that, right? So all fossil fuel companies are going to have a terrible E-score, environmental score. Excuse me. If you're a conservative, or if you're someone who doesn't believe in the social justice mantra of the left, if you're someone who believes that black people are just as capable as white people, if you believe that, then your score is going to be terrible there. And then before you know it, to force you out of business, or make it so hard that you just can't keep up. While, the Zuckerbergs and whoever, they're all getting great scores, because they care so much and they're so good. They're not. Maybe governance will have to do with how you treat your employees. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can help me out on that one. Let's see what else we got going here. Like the Chinese Communist social score. God help us. That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Thomas. You figured that out. Jeffrey Bodenstein, I doubt your ESG score is that big. If you're on my channel, you're probably going to have a low ESG score, but yeah, not just a leftist, but a female leftist. Well, he'll call himself a female. Oh, it's all part of the Great Reset. Yeah, I did a video on the Great Reset before, and no doubt the World Economic Forum and them are pushing very hard for the one world global government, and ESG fits right in that for sure. Let's see. Pandering and virtue signaling. That's where we're going to get. Hey, Richelle, you're here. So maybe I didn't notice you earlier. So we will all own nothing and be happy. We're about to arrive in this neighborhood. Ask the neighbors who truly own nothing in tent cities how happy they. That's a good point. But it's another. Oh, retracted her message. Oh no, Richelle, don't go away. Maybe you didn't write it very well. It's the same as if you look at someone in prison, for example. They get free food, they get free water, they get an education, they get a place to sleep. Are they free? They're not. It's the same with, there's a meme that goes around. You got the lion that's in the zoo, and you got the lion that's on the, on the prairie or wherever he's at, the safari. Like, one of them's free and one of them's not. One of them's guaranteed food and one of them's not. Right? Like, we all want to be the lion on the prairie. We all want to take care of ourselves. We all want it to be dependent on us, how we live our lives. And they want us to live in the zoo. They want us locked up. They want us to go along to get along. And we just can't have that. That we'll have to keep fighting that as long as we possibly can. The savannah, thanks, Lenrod. Safari, the prairie. I hope they weren't on the prairie. That'd have been scary back in the day here in the United States. You'll own nothing and you'll be hungry. That's true. The big word banks have already started implementing the rating for loans. That's right. That's what I read too, Gun Drone. And I imagine it's starting with the biggest companies. Correct me if I'm wrong. I imagine it's already started with the biggest companies, and it'll work its way down to the local plumbing shop here that's got 6-7 employees and whatever. Mrs. Tyler and friends, please have a great conversation and a fine evening. Life beckons. Good night, good day, or whatever time finds you. Thanks, Donnie Brook and Hooligan. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, you'll starve. Gun Drone, that's right. You'll starve. The communists love to anyone who does not. That's right. We're going to starve if we let them control our lives, and we're not going to starve if some will, but it's because they're wanting to be taken care of. They're wanting told what to do. They're wanting given this free stuff. And so when I had a buddy, we played music together for a while. He said he has a cousin, and every Thanksgiving they would get together. He would come in all stinky because he was he was homeless. And he would tell everybody, you guys are stupid. You guys are doing the rat race. You guys are working. You guys are doing all the stuff you hate. And he's like, all you got to do is show up at the right places. You get your food taken care of. You get your water, and get you a nice tent. You ain't got to worry about life. I mean, just chill out. And you see that where I live and where I work through LA. It is everywhere, man. It is, even like the industrial park where I go to work, where I check in, if you will. they got all kinds of people there, and I hear them talking to themselves, yelling stuff. It's a shame, and you can't help these people. You can try, but you can't help these people. And I'll tell a funny story. This will sound a little cruel, but let me preface it with a story first. The thing that happened when I was a kid, I was probably maybe like in 5th grade, and maybe younger, maybe 3rd grade. We pull up to a red light right off the exit, and there's this guy standing there with a sign that says, "We'll work for food." And I tell my dad, I'm in the back seat. I'm like, "Dad, why don't you give that guy $5?" My dad's like, "Well, son, let me teach you something." He rolls down his window, and the guy's like, "Hey, come here, buddy. Come here." And the guy's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Good." He's like, "I live right over there, right off the road right there. I have a lawnmower. It's all gassed up, ready to go. I have some painting work that needs done. I have the brushes. I have the paint, everything. If you come by, we'll feed you lunch. We'll pay you. We'll put you to work." "Oh man, God bless you. Thank you. You're a lifesaver." Blah blah blah. We drive off. My dad says, "Son, that guy's never going to show up at our house because some people don't want to work. They just want something for free." And I'm like, okay, wow. And that's shaped my life in a lot of ways as far as handouts go and the like. So one day, a buddy of mine, we're in a mall and we're having lunch, and a lady comes by, and she has a sign. She's carrying like a 3-year-old kid, and she has a sign, and the sign just says, homeless, need money for food, blah blah blah, have children, something like that. And I'm like, no. So then we go and get a Jamba Juice. I might have told the story before, and we go get a Jamba Juice, and she comes walking up, and she's like, she got that kid still. She's like doing her thing again, and I'm like, "You already asked me." And then she like shoves it in my face, like she's gonna show me. And I say, we ought to call child services because you're teaching this kid to be a bum. This is child abuse. What you're doing to this kid right now is child abuse. And everybody in this Jamba Juice just breaks out kind of laughing. And I'm like, I'm being serious. I'm like, you can carry a 3-year-old with one arm for 2 hours. You can get a job. And then she walks out. She's all mad, and she walks out. She never says a word, but she just has that sign, and she's like I said, she's shoving it in my face. But that's like, she can work. She can get a job. Like, I don't need to go to Jamba Juice. I didn't even buy anything there because my friend wanted to go there, but I don't need to go to Jamba Juice and have people come in there telling me, "Oh, I'm so terrible. I have it so bad." It's like, no, there are bad people, and there are tons of charities, and I give to charities and I help people, but I don't need to go to a restaurant and have you sitting outside begging me with your sign that says you got 3 kids, and when you're an able-bodied person and you can do something about it. And it sounds a little bit heartless, but we're not helping those people by giving them that handout because that's all they're there for. They're there for the handout. They would eventually have to go do something for themselves. That, or, and I'm not talking about all homeless. There's a lot of crazy people that are homeless. That's a separate issue in itself, and they're drug addicts and so on. That's a different issue. But this lady's just scamming the system. She's just scamming good people. Right. And she's got her kid out there, and I saw another one the other day with her little daughter out there, and she waved at my little daughter. The lady did. "Hi," she said. And my daughter's like, "What's she doing?" I was like, "She wants us to give her money for free because she doesn't want to work." That's what I said as we walked by when my daughter asked me, who is she? What's she doing? Because that's what it is. Now, it sounds kind of mean, like I said, but is it tough love? Maybe. I don't know if it's tough love, but it's definitely something that I feel strongly about, that is, we're giving them something. They're never going to help themselves. Don't feed the bears, right? Don't feed the bears. Oh, here we go. Fox fan told one the other day asking me in a parking lot. I said, they're hiring. And he fought me over that. Just walked away. Not worth my time. Exactly. I can totally manage that. Imagine that, right? They're hiring right there. They're hiring right there, right over there. Just walk over there, right? No, they're not going to hire someone like me. That, like, they get all mad and crazy. Revelations, they are coming for your oil. Remember, that's no doubt about that. You guys are still talking. There, that's now gun drone. You say if you do not own an electric car powered by 60% solar and so on, there goes your E-score. Now, I haven't heard that the E-score, the ESG scores were going to be a personal thing, but that's where China's at. So I don't doubt that's where they're headed. That we're all going to get one. And I have this channel, so my social justice, my social justice score is going to be right. The people I want to support with my hard-earned money, charities I like to support, that they won't count. So I was homeless and hitchhiked the whole west coast of Mexico for years. I picked up great work in Pismo Beach and Shell Beach, but I'm an Okie, and you are right. Homelessness has become a culture. Thanks, Sir Pike. I guess I take it you're working now, or you're not homeless anymore. Let's see, Lenrod. I once saw a panhandler in front of a store that had a help wanted sign in the window. Funny yet sad. Yeah, there you go. That's a great example. It's a great example. Man, let's see what else. What else is going on? Oh, Thomas, you keep coming through with these big, huge numbers. Where can I find your email? Between remote support, I just read news and skim the blue checks on Twit if I see something that could be good for content. You know what? That's a good point. Maybe I should put up an email for you guys to hit me. Sometimes if you're on Facebook, you can message me and I'll answer it. I'll accept your friendship or that kind of stuff on Facebook. I know a lot of people are getting off of Facebook and I need to too. That place is, yeah, it's terrible. But yeah, I'll start putting up on these videos. I'll start putting up an email where you guys can just reach out straight to me. And then, yeah, because content, it's a funny thing. Now, I said at the beginning, maybe some of you guys weren't here. This month has been tough for content because, I work the graveyard shift. I've been working overtime. Graveyard shift is midnight to 8:30 in the morning. If I get stuck working overtime that day, I was working one week, I worked till 3 o'clock every day. So midnight till 3 in the afternoon every day. And come home, try to get some sleep. I got to help, with the family, hang out with the family, that kind of stuff. And it just gets really hard to produce some content. At the same time, my son has eczema. He's got a severe case of eczema. And so my wife's having to change her diet. So she's not eating dairy. She's not eating soybeans. She's I think she's going to be off of nuts or something now. And we have to vacuum. We have 2 dogs, so we have to vacuum the dog dander. We've locked them into the dining room area. We have to vacuum everything up every day, mop every day. And so it just gets out of control with time, and it sneaks up on me. But yeah, I'd love people to tell me, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And then give me some direction every now and then, because sometimes what I do is I write something and then the moment is gone. Right? Like it's something that happened today. I write about it tonight. I don't have time to shoot a video the next 2 or 3 days and do it. And then by the time everybody's said it, everybody's done it, everybody's talked about it, and it would be, 5 days later. And then I go, well, that was just a waste of writing. And so maybe I could put some of those up on the community page when I write something that I don't have time to actually put out. I could just write it up and put it up there, and it'd be something you guys could read and we could all talk about that way. Because, it's not strictly about making videos and trying to make money. I'm not about making money. I'm about furthering what it is that I think America would help America and help. And I want to help people. It's really frustrating to me, which I said in my last video, about how Democrats have really worked so hard to convince black people that they just can't make it on their own. They just can't do it. And it's so frustrating. Like I've met so many, I played sports my whole life. I've met so many black people and played with so many black people that were smart. They're athletic. They were hardworking. They did all these things, and they can do it. And many of them have done it and continue to do it. That's the thing. We're stuck in this time where it's so politically advantageous for the Democrats to keep black people angry and upset, and everything is racist. Everything is, oh, look, for 400 years. It's like, well, not last year. Maybe 300 years. What do you want to say? What about last year? You know, a good example is that black coach from that coached Miami, the football coach. He's mad because he had to be the token interview for some hire, because there's a rule in the NFL that says when you have an opening position, you have to hire a minority, at least one minority for that position. Well, obviously we know what's going to happen. If I'm a football owner, I own a team, and it's not like these guys don't know each other already. Everybody in the league knows each other pretty much. If I got my eye on the offensive coordinator for, the Chiefs, and I offer him the position, and he's like, yeah, I'll come in for the interview, when we hit it off, and he's the guy I wanted to in the first place, there's no point in doing a second interview with this black guy, because I already got the guy I wanted. But this rule makes it have to do it, and then, oh, it's racist then because they're not taking me seriously. It's like, yeah, they're not taking you serious because they never wanted you in the first place. But it doesn't mean somebody doesn't want a black coach. Obviously, the Dolphins wanted a black coach. They had you for 3 years. And it's not that they wanted a black coach. They wanted a coach. And then to think about where, the NFL is 70+% black. What that means is the NFL, what we have to believe is the case is that the NFL, and I'm not a big football fan, obviously, but the NFL hires the best players they can, and it happens to be mostly black people, because they want to win. They want the best players possible because they want to win. But then we have to believe that when it comes to coaching, they go, you know what? I don't care if we lose. I don't want one of those black coaches. I'm going to go for a white guy. Like, that's what they want us to believe, that when it comes to the players, we don't care. We'll hire as many black players as possible. But the coach, that's a different story. Our racism comes out then. It just doesn't make any sense. If you're a good black coach, and the other side of it too is we're talking 32 teams, right? This is the elite this is the best of the best, right? There's only 32 head coaches in the NFL. The best of the best. How many people want to get there, right? How many people would, and you're not going to get there. If you're a high school football coach, you're not going to get there. Some high school coaches who get there. Most of you are not going to, but some of them will work their way up into college and so on and get there. But it's just a joke to make it's all about race, when the fact is the Rooney Rule is just what causes these stupid interviews that go nowhere, because they already got their guy. They already had their eye on the guy they wanted and so on, or the 5 guys that they're considering. Well, I hate to say it, but it's coming down to it. It's a couple minutes till 7, and I got to run. I got to go to work tonight. I got to get ready, help the kids get to bed, do all that good stuff. I enjoy these things, but I'm definitely looking to get some interviews, get some people on with me. It makes the conversation go a little bit better, a little bit faster, and you get play off each other. It's really nice. You guys, I see you saying goodbye up here. I appreciate that. I'm definitely going to try to get more content out. Bear with me on that. Once we get this kid sleeping better and get his medical stuff taken care of, and I get on this. I tell you what, the graveyard shift ain't no joke. Try to sleep during the day, but 3 or 4 hours a day and staying up all night is man, it's pretty tough. I don't feel great a lot. But, it's what you do for your family. It's what you do for your friends. It's what you do to support the lifestyle you want and so on. And that's, I should work the morning shift. The problem is the morning shift, they work usually more overtime than I do. And I don't want the overtime. I want more time at home. I want more time with my family. I want more time working on, getting this this channel going, but not just the channel. Like I said, it's not about the channel. It's not about me and my personality or getting famous or any of that kind of stuff. It's about fighting the fight that I think is super important. And if I could come here every day and make a video every day, I'd love to. I'd do it if I could. You know, I would be 24/7 if that was possible. If I was a single guy and had a simple job, man, I would be on this thing day and night. I'd be writing my butt off. But just, you know, it's just what it is with the family, with the friends, or with the family and all the hours I got to put in and all that stuff. But yeah, guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate some of you guys, Thomas and a few other friends who did a super chat. I appreciate that. Thanks for Pharaoh King. I appreciate that. Last 20 days of the month are the hardest. Nikola Tesla. The last 29 days of the month are the hardest. That's true. I couldn't tell you. Good night, Richelle. I used to work that shift too. Much love. I appreciate it. You guys on the East Coast, what is it? It's 10 o'clock. You guys are going to bed for sure soon, but I'll be up. You know, and anytime on my videos, if you guys, whatever you guys comment, if you guys got any ideas like that too, but like I said, I'll put an email up and, that you guys can, email me directly. So that we can have a dialogue and you guys can help me. I need some guidance occasionally on what's important to talk about. Sometimes I think something's very important and I put it up and people are just like, meh. And other times I talk about something and it's like, yeah, this is important. And I want to be a part of the solution, right? I want to be part of getting to making this country what it should be and everybody in it getting the opportunities that they can work for and do. The truth is out there. Appreciate it, brother. All right, guys. Oh, gute Nacht. Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah, Grunst. Woher kommst du? Ich habe in Deutschland gewohnt. Oh, Richelle. Thank you. Big League Chew. I appreciate it. I remember that comment. Boy, you know, when I was a kid, I used to chew that stuff a lot. The Big League Chew. I may have to get some. I'm going to usually stop by a gas station into work, so get me some snacks or whatever. I might have to get some. I know they made it. I found out they still make it. So I'll have to get me some. But yeah, gute Nacht, auf Wiedersehen. I appreciate it. Woher kommst du? TM Grunst. Ich habe in Mainz gewohnt vor 1 Jahr. Ich habe Baseball gespielt. That's my poor German, guys. It's really bad. And my mom speaks German a little bit better than me, but yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk soon. I'll get some good content out there this week, hopefully. All right. See you guys. Take care.